Many of you have asked me for an update on Bitmine stock, ticker symbol BMNR. The stock is down 41% year to date. This is Tom Lee's company. So I'm going to talk about Bitmine today. I believe there's a lot of potential catalysts on the horizon that a lot of shareholders are not paying attention to. I believe the stock is looking very attractive. And this is really the best time to be looking into those growth or speculative related stocks whenever the market is going down and no one is really interested in them. This is when you could find some asymmetric upside kind of potential in a lot of stocks. So I'm going to talk about Bitmine today, and I really hope you enjoy it as always. Now, the first question shareholders or people ask themselves is, why would I invest in Bitmine if I could just own Ethereum itself? And I think the best way to explain it is to look at MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy has outperformed Bitcoin over the last 5 years, despite the massive MNAV multiple collapse that it has experienced. Despite that, it has still outperformed Bitcoin by a major way. And the reason for that is because the job of Bitmine and MSTR is to create value per share. Just like a company's job is to create earnings per share worth of value, MicroStrategy or strategy creates something called Bitcoin per share worth of value, and Bitmine creates Ethereum per share worth of value. Now, the way they do it is very simple. Whenever the stock is trading at a premium, they issue stock to buy Bitcoin. Whenever it's trading at a discount, they can potentially sell Bitcoin to buy the stock. So the way this works is, let's say MicroStrategy is trading at 1.5 times NAV, okay? If they are issuing shares at 1.5 times their value, they're getting money to buy 50% more Ethereum or Bitcoin than they would have gotten if they were issuing it at par value. Because of that, you have more Bitcoin per share, and it creates shareholder value, which drives outperformance over the long term relative to the underlying cryptocurrency. This is essentially what Bitmine does, but Bitmine does it with no leverage, which is why I prefer Bitmine over MicroStrategy. The other question is, why Ethereum? Well, I think tokenization is really big. We have a lot of real estate, a lot of physical assets, art that could potentially be tokenized, and most of those tokenization platforms, including Robinhood's, they're being built on the Ethereum network. So this is going to be huge. But Ethereum also provides a yield, which Bitcoin doesn't provide a yield. You're getting a staking yield with Ethereum, and Bitmine collects about $202 million annualized in the staking yield, which is pretty amazing to me. And if Ethereum goes back to 3,000, Bitmine would be collecting about $550 million in just net income. This is 100% profits. If Ethereum gets to 12,000, they would be collecting about $2.2 billion in just the staking yield. They can use it to keep it in Ethereum. They could buy more companies. They can buy back the stock. They could do whatever they want with it. So over the long term, this is going to start to generate more and more income, and the dilution will become much less than it is today. But the final one is the Clarity Act, which is mainly for stablecoins. And Ethereum has a 70% market share in stablecoins. And if this act does pass, it's going to legitimize stablecoins more than they are, you could say. And it could also be a massive catalyst for the usage of Ethereum, which is really amazing. Now, the main reason why I like Bitmine as a bet in general isn't just for Ethereum, but it's also for other kind of companies. So I think of Bitmine of more like a venture capital kind of a ETF or venture capital kind of company, where I put in 1 or 2% and they do the job for me by investing in early stage companies, private companies, all kind of speculative stuff. And you could just trust Tom Lee and just see what happens. So this is how I look into it. But Bitmine also owns a stake in Beast Industries, which a lot of people were not a big fan of the stake. I personally a fan of the stake. I think they got good value for it, especially for who Mr. Beast is and the kind of reach he has of over 1 billion followers, and he likely has a reach of maybe 2 to 2.5 billion people, if not a little bit more. So the reach here is amazing. And Beast Industries is creating a lot of different things, including potentially a financial app, and he could advertise it to almost 1.5 to 2 billion people for free. So you could only imagine the kind of audience he's getting and the potential revenues and the potential market value of the stake of Bitmine. So this is more of a call option in the company. And that's something that I like with this investment in general. Now, there's a few reasons why Bitmine has been going down. The first reason is because Ethereum has been going down. It's down 62% from its all-time high. This is how much it tends to fall on average, 64%, 46%. It did fall 81% back in 2022, but most of the time it's a 60% drop followed by a V-shaped recovery. And it could potentially be the same this time around where it fell 62% and it could likely be followed by a V-shaped recovery. Tom Lee believes that Ethereum is undervalued based on the Ethereum to Bitcoin ratio. And if it gets back to its 2021 high and it trades at $21,000 per Ethereum, Bitmine stock could potentially be trading at about $500 per share, which is like a 20x from today's price. So this is the kind of asymmetry that's being presented with Bitmine stock at this price of the cycle. Now, the main reason why I said there's a potential turnaround for the stock is because I believe we could be nearing the end of the dilution. And this is the reason why the stock has been going down so much, is because Tom Lee has been issuing stock to buy Ethereum, and he's still issuing stock to buy Ethereum. Now, his goal is to collect 5% of the Ethereum network. Once that's done, dilution could be minimized, and he could potentially use the staking revenues that they get to even buy back the stock. So we would have an entirely different dynamic than the constant dilutions that we have right now with Bitmine. And he's about, you could say he has 4.6 million Ethereum. His goal is 6 million, which is 5% of the network. So he only has 1.4 million left. In terms of how much cash they have, it's 1.1 billion. They need 2.7 billion to buy the remaining of Ethereum, which means they're only missing about 1.6 billion of cash. Out of the current market cap, this is about a 20% dilution. So after this 20% dilution is over, then there will be much more support on the stock because you don't have the company consistently selling their own shares to raise money. They would not need to raise any more money, and that could help support the price in general. So for me personally, I used to own Bitmine. I sold Bitmine to buy more Robinhood, and Robinhood stock has been going down, but I'm looking to get back into Bitmine, and I'm trying to wait for as long as I could for this accumulation goal to get closer to 6 million. So if it gets to 5 million, 5.2, 5.5, I believe we would be nearing the end of the dilution, and then there will be much more support on the price for the long term. The current MNAV multiple is 0.87, which means you're buying the company below its asset value, and this is accounting for Beast Industries and others. So I think Bitmine is offering a good deal over here. I think the stock is undervalued. I believe it's a great bet on Ethereum and tokenization in general, but I also believe it's likely nearing the end of this state of just downward pressure on the stock, mainly because Tom Lee is nearing the end of diluting the stock to buy more Ethereum. He only needs $1.6 billion left, which is less than a 20% dilution. After that, it's done. They have 5%. They collect the income. They use it to buy more companies, to buy back the stock, to issue dividends. Then it could actually trade at a premium. This company should not be trading below its asset value. It should trade 1.2, 1.3 times to at least account for the Ethereum holdings, plus the yield that they're getting on the staking the Ethereum. So it should be trading at least 1.2, yet it's trading at 0.87, but it could potentially trade there once they get close to the end of them diluting shareholders to buy Ethereum, which I think is coming very, very soon, and it could happen over the next few months. So that's my opinion on Ethereum and Bitmine. Hope you enjoyed it. It was not financial advice. If you did enjoy it, please press the like button and maybe consider subscribing. So I'll talk to you in another video.